Hey everyone, it's Cece with One Green Pea. Now I understand that spider plants may not be the hottest plant out there, but they are elegant and iconic and very easy to care for. And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's talk about this ubiquitous spider plant. Its formal botanical name is Chlorophytum comosum. It's sometimes also referred to as the airplane plant, and I've even seen it called the spider ivy. The spider plant is native to Africa, and there are several common varieties, two of which I have. The variegatum has a green stripe down the center of the leaf, and the vittatum has a cream or white stripe down the center of the leaf. There's a third common variety called the Bonnie. It's a more compact plant, and it has curlier leaves. As far as taking care of your spider plant, as I mentioned in the beginning, spider plants are very hardy and low maintenance. As far as light, they prefer moderate to bright indirect light. What you don't want to do is have bright sunlight directly on the leaves. That will burn the leaves. But a spider plant can tolerate low light conditions. They won't be as robust and they probably won't produce as many babies, but you can put them in a lower light situation. Spider plants prefer to dry out moderately in between watering. So the finger test or using a moisture meter will indicate to you when the plant has dried out. Now it's not like a succulent that you want to dry out completely, but you want to be able to stick your finger in and not feel any moisture in the top inch to 2 inches of soil. Speaking of soil, spider plants are very happy in our general potting mix, to which I always add a few things to make it a little chunkier, a little more well-draining, things like perlite or orchid bark, or even some horticultural charcoal. You don't need a lot of that, but you just don't want the roots sitting in wet soil. As far as fertilizing, just the same fertilizing schedule that you have the rest of your general house plants on. I prefer a weekly, very diluted fertilizer so that I don't have to remember if I fertilized last time or the time before. I just like to use a super diluted fertilizer, and I can link in the notes below the brand that I'm currently using. One of the more common issues that comes up with spider plants is brown tips on the leaves. Now, this could result from any number of factors, including inconsistent watering, lack of adequate humidity, or even a buildup of salts in the soil. So in order to diagnose what's happening, if that's going on your plant, you have to look at your care practices and make sure that you're maintaining a consistent watering schedule, not going too long between waterings or watering too often, making sure that there is adequate humidity in the room. And if you haven't repotted in a couple of years, that also could be a factor. So how do you take care of it? Really simple. You just use your handy clippers that have been sanitized with alcohol and then just trim off the brown portion. You could, if it's affecting a lot of the leaf, you could actually cut the whole leaf off. But generally, if you just kind of make a little trim on the end, it takes care of it just fine. One of the things I love most about spider plants is how easy they are to propagate. They quite readily put off little babies or pups, and all you have to do is snip them off. So this one, you can see it has some of the stem left on it. I simply snipped it right at the stem. It was coming off of this plant here. And then you place the root end in water And in a few weeks, this one's a little further along, you'll see roots develop. And when the roots are a couple inches long, they are ready to move into soil. Now this one happened to be quite a large pup before I cut it. So you can cut them when they are tiny, or you can wait till they're a little bit bigger. When they're bigger, they pot up a little bit easier. They become a larger plant, like this one, a little quicker. Now, I like taking the little tiny babies and putting them in these little pots, and then they make fun little gifts just to hand out to your friends or people in your community. Some of these are ready to be put into pots, so let's do that next. Okay, let's get to work. I've got my pot with a drainage hole and my potting mix, which again is just a general organic potting mix to which I've added some elements to make it a little more well draining. So I'm going to start off with a layer of the soil in the bottom of my pot. Now these, you really don't want to pot them too deeply. So I need a good amount of soil in that pot. And I have decided that I want to actually put 2 different varieties in the same pot, just because I think that'll look kind of cool growing up. So I'm going to choose the Tatum and the Variegatum and put them in here together. So I'm just going to nestle them in so that the roots are covered in the soil. Super easy. And then I will use a smaller scoop and backfill with more soil. And remember, when you are potting, you want to give it a really good drink of water, assuring that it drains out the drainage holes. But you want to do that to help to create some firmness in the soil so that it holds the plants in place before they have a root system that does that on its own. So, they've got lots of little leaves, long leaves, and I don't want to tuck those into the soil if I can help it. So that is that. And then tamp down, and I will give that a good drink of water, like I said. Set it in a moderately bright location. And since the roots are coming from a water environment, I'm going to keep this pretty moist for the first week to 2 weeks. And that way the roots will adapt to the soil just a little bit better. Thank you for watching my video about the elegant, easy, and prolific spider plant. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it when you share my videos with your friends so we can grow a bigger plant community. And until next time, my friends, let's keep growing a greener world.